Hey everybody, so we have some awesome news for you today. We just got the opportunity to partner with the app Fitbod, and for those of you who haven't heard of it, it is a fantastic app that will allow you to have a personal trainer in your pocket on your phone that you have access to at any point in time. It's not a person, it's an app that will take your fitness goals, your health goals, and transcribe them into personalized workouts just for you. They can do home workouts, body weight workouts, they can do full gym equipment workouts. You can actually select the muscles you want to target as well as the equipment you have available, and they will build you a workout based strictly off that, and they'll calculate the time it takes to do that workout. So you can choose if you have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, even an hour, and they'll build you a workout just for that. So we're very fortunate to have this. I've been using Fitbod for a long time and I love them. I love the app. So in regards to our partnership, they've actually made it even better for you guys. If you want to join now, you can type in the promo code MEGAN25. That's MEGAN 25 when you download the app from Fitbod. That gets you 25% off. The annual membership is around $50. So a general partnership with a personal trainer, 1 hour long session is a minimum of $60. So you're actually only paying $50 a year for a personal trainer anytime you want it, as many times a day as you want it. It's fantastic. They have a free edition as well. I've had the paid membership for years and I will never go back. It's fantastic. So I recommend checking them out. If you decide to get it, if you decide to download it, make sure you use the promo code MEGAN25. You'll get 25% off, and you'll also be supporting our podcast because any funds that we get from that transaction go back into our podcast account to download more equipment, software updates, anything like that. So you're helping us too. So it's a win-win, and I know you guys will love it. All right, guys, and here's our show. What's up, everybody? It is Megan joining you live on the Megan James Show. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, this is my podcast that I created as a part of my lifestyle design company, Legacy Lifestyle Coaching. We believe that you can craft the life you want. What you have today is the life that you have ultimately designed, either through your decision or indecision. Every action you've taken or not taken has led you to where you are. And if you aren't happy with that, you and only you have the power to change it. So the whole point of this podcast is to provide people with ideas, with techniques, ways to better their lifestyles in all realms. That includes fitness, mental health, physical health, nutrition, spirituality, entrepreneurship. We go into business, mechanics, ownership of life, and just success principles overall. And we talk about success in a different way. A lot of people have different definitions of success. Some people see money, some people see freedom, some people see options. So we break down for you guys what success means to us. Feel free to go take a look at some of our recent podcasts on that. But today I really want to talk about an issue facing not just America, but a lot of people all over the world today. We've progressed in society to a point where we rely on electronics. We rely on the electronic World Wide Web, to connect us to each other, to connect us to ideas and ideals about our lives. And it can be a great thing. It allows us to connect to our auntie in India or our grandmother in Florida when we're living in New York. And it can be wonderful for a variety of things, but it can also be a hindrance in your life, which I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. We know that electronics can be good and can be bad. It depends on your reliance upon them and what you're using them for. But something few people realize is something. Now, before I start into this, I kind of want to start with a background on me. Most of you know I majored in anthropology and archaeology. I specialized in forensic anthropology. But one of the things I always found interesting was cultural anthropology. And a big thing in cultural anthropology talks about societal norms, basically the rules or constructs of society that keeps people to get there. It keeps them abiding by the laws and the rules. It keeps the order in place. But out of these societal norms, you build a basis of behavior. So models of behavior that individuals in that society are supposed to base their own behavior after. And it doesn't just break down to behavior, it breaks down to the way they dress, the way they talk, the groups they hang out with. What's normal in society becomes your way of life. So we get so used to relying on what my neighbor Cindy is doing and what my coach Carter is doing, what, all these people are doing in my life, because society has taught us that that's how we should regulate our lives, is based off what everyone else is doing. And it can be a really toxic circle. It's correct in the way of abiding by the laws, keeping the order in place, because if we didn't have laws and order, we would have chaos and, purges and God knows what else. But we have to do a little bit of give and take, right? We can't be all in on societal norms. I've seen friction caused in something as little as relationships, in heterosexual marriages, homosexual marriages, and everything in between. We hear it's been the basis of marriages from the beginning of time. If you're in a heterosexual marriage or relationship for that matter, that the man is supposed to be the breadwinner. He's supposed to be out there, bringing in the dough, doing the work, and the mom or the wife should be staying at home, taking care of the house, and if they have kids, taking care of the kids, and the man really wears the pants. Well, I'm of the belief that relationships work best when no one's wearing pants, if we're being completely honest here. And I feel like we've gotten so absorbed into this mindset, and it's been brought down from generation to generation. So we got here today based on the thinking of our parents, who got here today based on the thinking of their parents, and so on and so forth, down the line. And we brought all that shit back from the beginning of time. Now we've modeled ourselves, we've regulated some things, and we've also changed some things. And we've done some things differently, but we've held a lot of the basic core beliefs and values that our parents handed down to us. We haven't really challenged those beliefs over the years. So if we're unlikely to take gifts from people, we're suspicious of newer people in our lives giving us gifts suddenly, we may be formulating the belief that this goes back to your parents telling you don't take candy from strangers. And maybe nothing like that severe or basic, but our lives are based on these kind of core beliefs and values that sometimes we don't even realize we have. And I actually sat down with my therapist yesterday and we were talking about something similar, and trauma. And a lot of times people don't recognize trauma as being what it is at the time. Say you acted out of line and your dad slapped you across the face when you were young, and you grew up and matured into an adult, and now your girlfriend slaps you across the face and it pisses you off, but a whole other level of piss off. Like you go to another level of just snapped. You're fucking pissed because it takes you back to the feeling you had when your dad slapped you across the face. And it may not be anything as traumatic as that, but we all have these inherent beliefs that we carry around with us day in and day out. They're like baggage. And we've got no baggage cart to load them up on to give ourselves a break from carrying them around and really stare at them and dissect them and send them through the scanners and the security systems to really see what the fuck is in our baggage. Because we've been accumulating all these bags all these years that we don't even know what we're carrying around anymore. We're like hoarders of influential beliefs that other people have laid down on us that we haven't taken the time to really dissect because they were given to us at a young age. A very impressionable age. Usually when you're, 3s, 4, 5, you're laid down the foundations in the law of the land by your parents, the only people you know, the only people who you have to raise you, your guardians, whoever. Those are the people you know, the only people you know growing up. So whatever they say is the law of the land and you don't question it. And as you get older, you wonder why your mentality's fucked up, and it's because you haven't challenged yourself. You're not getting out of your comfort zone. You're not doing the things that you wouldn't normally do. You have to experiment. People say that they're lost and they're trying to find themselves, but really they're lost and they haven't tried to find themselves. You can't find that which you haven't tried to seek. So you can't wait on your passion to find you. You've got to start trying shit. And yeah, you're going to have a ton of failures You're going to have a ton of heartache. If you're trying to find relationships and you start dating, you're going to have a ton of fucking breakups, and many of them are going to hurt. But the cool part is, out of putting yourself out there into the world, you're going to find the person you're meant to be with. Whereas if you're just sitting on your ass, on your couch, watching Netflix, they're not just going to wander into your fucking crowded ass living room full of dirty dishes. You have to do something. You have to make yourself available, and you have to make yourself appreciable. You have to appreciate yourself, because no one else will if you don't. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to? And that's just honestly the relationship status. So, going back to, I talked about this earlier in a podcast, transactional versus transformational relationships. And so what that would mean is, do you go into a relationship hoping that you're going to get something out of it? Pretty much a transaction. Did you go into dating with the expectation that you're going to get sex? Or did you go into the relationship with the expectation that you're going to get loved? Or did you go into it with the idea of, we're going to meet in the middle, and I'm going to offer everything I have. I'm going to give this, I'm going to give that, and whatever comes of it, comes of it. I'm going to transform this in some positive light. And so you can go into that with your job. I'm going to show up to work on time, ready to go, and I'm going to bring this work ethic, and I'm going to do this first thing, and I'm going to be as efficient as I can. And out of it, I hope to transform this into a positive working environment, or I hope to transform myself into a great employee. But you don't go into it with the expectation of, I'm going to do all this shit and they're going to give me a raise tomorrow when I just started working here today. So that's not how we want to think about the world. So it takes that switch of your mindset that you may not even realize that you're thinking in a negative form. So my assignment to you guys today is to really sit down and dissect some of the shit you have going on. So like an example would be, the world today is pressuring millennials and Generation Z to go out, get a job. But first, you have to go to school, get good grades, then go to college, usually a university, get a 4-year degree, then go get a career, and then you're making it. And what people consider a career could be like a white-collar job, accounting, it could be a CPA job, or a lawyer, doctor, something like that. Well, many of us don't have those talents. I can tell you right now, I don't have the abilities to be a doctor, nor do I have the drive or ambition to do so. Sick people piss me off. They complain an awful lot. And to be honest, I don't have bedside manner. And I'm okay with that. I accept it. This is me. I don't do that with everything. A lot of things, I know where I'm at, so I know that I run slower than a turtle caught in Nutella, but I'm working to change that. I've accepted this is where I'm at right now, but I'm not going to keep it that way. I'm working actively to change that, to transform that part of myself. In regards to being a doctor, I've accepted that I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm here for. I don't want to be an attorney. I don't want to be a neurosurgeon or whatever the case is. It's just not in my cards. And I think we get so scared and caught up in pleasing our parents and really trying to appease them and appease society and just fucking fit in. If your family, if it's just you and your spouse, maybe you're married and you guys have a medium income, or maybe you're in the lower end, I don't know, 30 to 50,000 a year between, each of you have 30 to 50,000 a year. So around $60,000 to $100,000 between you guys all together. And you guys are living a pretty good life. You're about to start a family. And you don't really like your fucking job because you're shuffling papers, you're in an office, and it's a toxic environment that you're not really happy with. And you have this passion for photography or poetry or writing or acting. And you're like, fuck, I can't do that. I didn't go to school for writing. I went to school for accounting, and now here we are. I hate fucking accounting, but when I act out charades in front of my family, I'm just lively. Or I don't know, you draw pictures and it feels like you're Leonardo da Vinci, or, it could be any number of things, and that's your happy place. But you're so scared to jump out there and actually try to make this a side hustle while you're building your regular burning your 9 to 5 hours, when you get home, maybe you burn a few hours doing something you love and trying to transform it into an income. But you're scared to do that because then you're going to have to tell people. At some point, you're going to have to admit to people that this is your real passion. And it's going to feel like you fucked up. And it's going to feel like you suddenly have to tell people, hey, I fucked up. I made a mistake. I went into a career I didn't like, and now I want to change it, but I'm old. And the truth is, you're really not old. You're between the ages of 27 and 45. You're not fucking old, so stop that. Anybody can change their lifestyle around. It's not a negative trait. A lot of articles on LinkedIn, a lot of articles in the business industry will try to discourage you from switching jobs and try to keep you stuck in the same spot because they say, oh, well, job recruiters look at this. They look at this and it can negatively impact your hiring. I will tell you right now, something that will impact you negatively if you're trying to get a job is your dissatisfaction over your current job. If you go into a job interview for a new place and you're so dissatisfied in your current job, that's going to boil off of you like a stench, like a fucking garbage fire. It's going to be disgusting. And they're going to sense it, that you hold this animosity towards your current workplace. And that's going to do you more harm than good. However, if you go ahead and just switch up your job, maybe you don't make as much money, but if you're able to cut the things that you don't need right now, maybe you don't need Hulu and Dish and Amazon Prime and Netflix. Maybe you don't need all those things. Maybe you can downgrade your internet. Maybe you can downgrade your phone plan. Maybe you shouldn't get the iPhone 11. Simple things, simple changes you can do to go ahead and start working towards that dream. But you've got to step out on a limb. You've got to take a risk. And you're going to have to admit to your family and to your friends that this is something you want to pursue. And our fear of rejection, of societal rejection, of familial rejection, has kept us from stepping out on this limb for too long, and it's made us all miserable. So if this is keeping you from really pursuing your passion, don't be afraid, because the worst thing you can do is fail. But out of failure becomes lessons. You learn from that, you grow, you get better. And we see failure as the worst thing, but really it's not. In my opinion, the worst possible thing is regret. I would feel more regret about not doing something than I would if I did it. Who gives a rip what anybody else thinks? It's your life. Most people will tell you that, by the age of 27, you should be married. You should have, at least one kid, have a house, single family dwelling with a white picket fence, have a white collar job and a nice car. And these are the pressures that society is fucking placing on us because of social media. And we're allowing it to affect our self-esteem. We're tying ourselves to these images, these news feeds, and it's crippling us in so many aspects of our life, financially, personally, professionally. It's fucking with us. And we got to stop letting that happen, guys. To give you an idea, all right, I made a complete career change. I got into a career at 24, found out it was totally not fucking for me, and I got out at, 20, I'm losing track of how old I am. Forgive me. I was 26, 27, somewhere in there, 27, I think. Right, 27. So I'm turning 29 this year, next month, actually. And I will have changed careers twice. I'm doing a range of things. I'm entrepreneurial, so I'm always got a side hustle going. I run an eBay business out of my house. I help clients run eBay businesses. I list things for them. I host trivia. I do all kinds of things. I have this podcast. And a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, you would not expect from a mature adult, right? But I believe you got to have a little fun in life. And one of my favorite things to do is create. I like to design things. I like photography. So that's another side hustle. I take pictures for people. And it's not that I'm trying to hustle and make money out of everything I love to do. It just ends up that way. I start doing shit for free and people offer to pay me and I'm not going to say no. It's that simple. I just keep doing the same quality work I've always done. And at some point when you're doing it well enough, you get offered money. So I promise you, if you just start doing something that makes you happy, like I love garage sale flipping. I'm still learning. I've been doing it my whole life. I'm still learning the transitions and trends in the market today. You know, they change every year. So I'm learning what's popular, what's not, and how to really read the market on different levels, between eBay, Craigslist, Facebook, Marketplace, Let Go, all these other apps and websites. I'm really learning a lot about marketplace transactions. At the same time, I'm learning a great deal about federal law, civil matters, personal injury suits, because I'm pursuing my passion of becoming a paralegal. I want to be a legal assistant because that will allow me to investigate cases and help people make sure that they're getting, the right legal justice. So, for instance, one cop, it's a story. It's not a person I knew, but a long time ago, there was a corrupt cop, and he had a murder suspect in custody, and he tried to pack on an additional 2 extra murder charges, right? Except that suspect didn't commit those murders. And he trumped up a bunch of evidence and played it out on this guy. Well, he ended up having a good enough attorney who found out that the officer trumped up this evidence to make it look like that suspect did it. But they found out who actually did it. And because of this guy was found not guilty on all accounts. So all the murder charges were dropped, even the one he actually committed. And so I think I can do the most good by making sure shit like this doesn't happen, by holding people at the line for where they are, both attorneys, police officers, clients, jury, whatever I have to do. I can keep the evidence in line. I can keep everything where it's supposed to be. And I think I have the research skills and the investigative skills to make that happen. And I'm excited about this new step. I can't promise this will be a career. I really can't. I get bored. When I master something, I get bored and I find something else. I move on. It's just my personality. But it keeps things exciting and it keeps me learning, which is ultimately my goal. I want to learn something new every day. My current field is actually depressing as hell, and I'm looking forward to moving on and transitioning out of it. So I speak these words from experience. You can't let societal norms roll over you. If you're in a relationship, it works best when no one wears pants. So me and Laura, we split our chores, if you will. There's not one person in this relationship that does all the cleaning or all the cooking or all the yard work or takes the trash out all the time. We split everything equally, but we also don't keep track. So if I take the trash out the last, 3 times running, or she has to mop the floors the last 3 weeks running, or, one of us does all the laundry for 2 weeks straight, we're not keeping tabs on each other. We're not holding a tab and saying, hey, no, I did this 2 weeks in a row. It's your turn. You owe me. We don't do that because it's equal. All's fair in love and war. And to be honest, it doesn't bother me, and I know it doesn't bother her. And so what I do is I learn to look out for what Laura doesn't like to do. I know she doesn't like to wash the dishes. It doesn't bother me, so I know I can wash the dishes in the morning before I go to work and in the afternoon when I get home, and it's no big deal. It actually helps me kind of break down and decompress and really review my day and see where my wins and losses were, and it gives me about 15 minutes just to decompress. So I don't mind it. It's actually kind of healing. I don't like to, there's a lot of shit I don't like to do, but I still do it. I don't like to vacuum. So Laura will be a champ and take that for me sometimes. And, it's a blessing when it happens, but I don't expect it. Same as she doesn't expect me to do the dishes all the time. It's a team effort. When you get in a relationship with somebody or you get married to somebody, you don't gain an opponent. You gain a team member. And the whole goal in life is just to build the biggest badass team that you possibly can. And it can be made up of your family members and your spouse and your little kiddos you're going to produce and your brothers and sisters and friends and family, and you just pack everybody in until you have the biggest, baddest ass team ever invented and you're ready to tackle anything. That should be your goal in life. Build your fucking team. So when you go into a marriage, you're looking for somebody who can keep you and hold you at a higher level of accountability, who can challenge you, who's not going to let you sit and mope in your shit. They're going to say, hey, this sucks. What you're going through right now, I acknowledge that. And I know you're going to need your time to get through it. But I'm not going to let you stay there. We're going to work through this shit because we're a team. You need somebody who's going to bring you up to that level. And you're going into relationships with a concept of, I'm looking for a teammate. You're not going into a relationship for the first time saying, I'm looking for marriage or I'm looking for a kid. That's how we get into toxic relationships in many cases. So just do yourself a favor, no pressure. You're not going into it looking for a serious relationship that's going to end in marriage. You can't go into it thinking like that, but think of it like you're trying to build a team. You're picking people for dodgeball. Who's going to be your partner for dodgeball? Who's going to make the best partner for this game that you're currently playing, this level you're trying to reach? Who can you help? Who can you work with in a symbiotic relationship to get to the top so you guys can win together? And when you start working like you're on a team, even if you're not good with sports, you don't like sports analogies, there's other team environments. You know, if you were ever in like drama club or I know there was like science clubs and stuff, HOSA back in high school and honors clubs, things like that. You're still a team and you still have, each person has a part that they play and you rely on those people to fulfill their role. So when you show up, you want to have people that are reliable so you don't have to double check and say, did they do this? Do they do this? Do I need to prepare to do this? You just want to show up and do your part and it all just flows together nicely. And I get that. And that's the ultimate goal. But sometimes we have to pick up the other slack. And if we're holding a grudge or we're being resentful, that really just hurts us in return. So I hope this wasn't confusing, but I really just wanted to take this time and talk about relationships and talk about how societal norms have really fucked us up a lot. There's a time and a place for things, and there's societal norms that keep the chaos from taking over. But there are societal norms that are in place that just completely screw us up. It makes it very difficult for people to come out as gay. It makes it very difficult for people to live their own life on their own terms. It makes it difficult for people to become artists, to live outside of society's goals, for society's, pressures to become this certain person that you're not capable of becoming because maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a photographer, maybe you're a martial artist. There's 1,000 different roles out there. You don't have to settle on the top 5. And so if you're 28 and you're vibing to some trivia and you're hitting the bar on a Tuesday, not to get drunk, but just to hang out and play some musical bingo, and you're, dealing baseball cards and trading them on eBay, and you're just having fun, finding yourself and finding your career and working through all your other shit, well, welcome aboard. We're all there. I'm there. Laura's there. Everyone is moving through life and just working through their own shit. And instead of focusing on what's my next step in life, I'm trying to focus more on the days when I dreamed of this life, the days when I dreamed I'd have my own house, I'd have a truck, I'd have a wife, I'd be working to build a family, I'd have a stable career. I remember these times and I'm proud of where I've come. And I know that I've got so much further to go. But when you really start to put things into perspective for yourself, where you were versus where you are now and where you know you're going, it's a little bit easier to give yourself that, well, you know what? I'm not as bad off as I thought I was. I'm going to keep grinding and doing my shit, but I'm not going to be so hard on myself because I'm giving it all I've got and I'm doing pretty well. Now, if you're not, yes, by all means, maybe you should, heat up the passion a little bit and start getting after it a little bit more. But I just don't want you guys to be so hard on yourself because we're getting to that point where a recession's coming. So if we're not preparing if we're living at odds with ourselves now, if we're living at odds with our finances, with our professional relationships, with our jobs now, when this recession hits, it's going to be twice as deadly. And I say deadly because mental illness is already prevalent in the United States. In fact, it's one of the most dangerous calls law enforcement officers can respond to is mental illness, commitments, anything to do with mental illness, because behavior is unpredictable. And I think when finances get hit heavy and hard by the recession, mental illness is going to get a lot worse. And I worry about people reacting to it with suicide and other negative actions. So it scares me to think about it, but I'm hoping we can prepare each other for the worst and go ahead and find ourselves now. Go ahead and start working to build a better life, because even if you're going through a financial breakdown, if you're on the right path to discovering your greatness, nothing's better than that. The happiest people are sometimes broke, but some of the most miserable people on earth, sometimes they're wealthy, sometimes they're also broke. I'm not saying money brings sadness at all. In fact, money can bring a lot of wonderful things. It allows you to have the tools to change the world, to build a life, But I'm just saying it's not your only goal in life. Your solid goal should be to build a team, to find your passion, your greatness, your identity, and just go with it. Just enjoy the process. And if out of that comes fame and fortune, then so be it. If not, just be happy with what you got. Keep working to be the best version of yourself, and that's all you can do. Don't rag on yourself for not being Muhammad Ali and you've only been boxing for a year. Think about all the reps he put in. Same thing goes with anything in life. You got to think about the people that came before you and how much work they put in, how much sacrifice they had, how many sacrifices they had to make, how many lost moments they missed with their family and stuff like that. You got to think about it. A lot goes into building a dream. A lot goes into building a legacy too. But what's left? Is that a picture you want to work towards? Is that something that's worth it? It's something you have to decide on your own terms, but don't let society make that decision for you. All right, guys. So I hope I've given you some good thoughts today, something to think about, maybe on your commute to work or back from work. And just kind of get through your weekend and write down some of these beliefs that you have as you come to them. Maybe you believe that money is bad. Okay, why do you believe that? Was there a time in your youth where your parents said money is the root of all evil? And suddenly, bam, that's your belief. Do you think about your core values and your core beliefs and think about instances where they were based off of. Now, analyze those things and see if that's true today for you. Because some of your core beliefs and values might actually be negative and might actually be holding you back today. And as always, if you need any help with this exercise, if it's not clear or you're looking for some more techniques or some ideas, I have tons of web links, PDFs. I can break it down for you. We could do a live session. Just hit me up. I'll help you as much as I can, give you as many free resources as I can. I'm always happy to interact with our audience. It's actually my favorite thing in the world. So, as always, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. And if you haven't told everyone this is the best self-development and entrepreneurship podcast out there, then what the fuck are you doing? I'm watching you guys. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, and share this shit with the world because people need to hear it. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Peace.